As Russia continues to bomb civilian targets in Ukraine, Ukrainian and Russian officials hold video conference talks to try to reach agreement on a ceasefire. Asked for his assessment of the talks, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken had this to say.
I have to say, on the one hand, we commend Ukraine for being at the table despite being under bombardment every minute of the day. At the same time, I have not seen any meaningful efforts by Russia to bring this war that it's perpetrating to a conclusion through diplomacy.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky laid out his priorities for the talks in a video posted Thursday.
Negotiations are ongoing, negotiations for the sake of Ukraine. My priorities in the negotiations are absolutely clear: the end of the war, security guarantees, sovereignty, restoration of territorial integrity.
Zelensky said that so far, Moscow has suffered heavier battlefield losses than in previous campaigns in Syria and Chechnya, or even Afghanistan, going back to the Soviet era. Experts tell VOA that Russian President Vladimir Putin has likely been surprised by the fierce resistance in Ukraine, and that Russia's troubles advancing into Kyiv have led to a marked shift in its negotiating position.
But it's interesting that here the Russians have moved from demilitarization to limited military forces, which is a big Russian concession already. They seem to have abandoned the idea of regime change in Kiev altogether. But I think that we should interpret this as the Russians desperately saying, this is what we would like to get now. Please, can't we get this? And the answer is no.
Other experts caution that there is no evidence that Putin himself is serious about negotiating with Ukraine.
I do think you have seen a shift in some of the official Russian rhetoric, talking about, for instance, an Austrian or Swedish option for Ukraine, which would kind of imply a Ukraine is neutral, but that still has ties to the West, and it's not sort of subjugated by Russia. At the same time, I think we are seeing Russia continuing to escalate, and if anything, become even more aggressive in Ukraine in terms of its military tactics there.
Putin may be so isolated that he is not even aware of the reality on the ground. Former U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine, William Taylor, told VOA.
President Putin may or may not know that his initiative, his military operation, his war has stalled. He may not know that the Russian military is running out of food and fuel and soldiers. He may not know this. Until he knows that, he will not be serious about negotiation.
Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov had this to say about potential talks between Zelensky and Putin.
There are no obstacles to organizing a meeting on the understanding that it will not be a meeting for its own sake, but a contact between the presidents that will consolidate the agreements reached, which are now being worked out through the two delegations. They have met 3 times in Belarus. Now they are working in video conference mode.
For now, as talks continue, funerals have become a daily occurrence in Ukraine, such as this one in the western city of Lviv, where residents buried their loved ones, soldiers killed in the war. Cindy Saine, VOA News.